I just got home. Yes, I'm keeping the hat on for the live stream because my hair is a mess underneath because it's been a busy day. We went out and got burgers at a new burger place. It was really nice. We took Mariah, my youngest, with us because Olivia, my oldest, is at work, and Reagan, my son, is at a football game. And so we took Mimi with us, and we had a lovely time. It was a very American, like good American experience. It, burgers, fries, bunch of people out and about, nice fall weather, small town. It's not in our town. We went, that's part of why I'm late. We went to my husband's hometown to try out this place. Hi, Vicky. Thanks so much for being here. Subs only. Thank you for the reminder. Go ahead and do that. There we go. But anyhow, so yeah, we went out. It was fun. Really good milkshake. Didn't love the burger. Well, I mean, it was fine. It's just like the buns weren't very toasted. And I think this place was like bigger than its britches. Hi, Holly. It was super, super busy. And people were there for like kind of a fast food experience, but it's not fast food. Everything is cooked to order and all of that, which is awesome. But it just kind of, I don't know, threw a spanner in the works just a little bit for tonight. Hi, Pamela. And then also, before all of that, oh, Holly, thank you so much. I've missed you too. So today I've had a pretty bad IBS day. I know, what a day to like go out and get like burgers and shakes, but it is what it is. So between all of that and all, we like left late for our date. No, I am not taking off the hat. Hi, Liz. Hi, Bonnie. My hair is a disaster without it, so we're leaving it on. Plus, I love this hat. My sister got it for me. Super cute. It's my go-to. So let's talk a little bit about, hi, Crystal. Yeah, Vicky, let's talk about that. So why haven't I been here? Well, why haven't I been live streaming? Several things. So one has been all of the canning. So much canning to do. And that was taking all of my time and energy. Then the gardening. I am like this close. Okay, fine. I'm taking the hat off. Sorry, you're getting messy hair. But all I have left in the front yard is to, I got 4 new bags of soil today. And so I need to add those to the gardens. And then I have my daylilies from the Laughing Place garden that's getting totally redone. That's being reimagined. But I had 2 pots full of the daylilies, 2 different colors, and they desperately need to be divided. And so tomorrow, at some point, because like my son has a volleyball tournament tomorrow that literally goes all day. We're talking like 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm not staying all day for the whole thing. Like we're going to do like shifts of go. Anyway, but at some point tomorrow, I'm going to divide the daylilies and get those planted, put out that dirt, and then I'm done. Yeah. Until spring with the front yard. It has been a grueling, crazy process. Look at these eyebrows. Good Lord. They have not had the attention they deserve. But I haven't cared. Hi, Phyllis. Because I've been canning and gardening. And that's been about it. Then, I don't think I mentioned this, like, at all over here. I was going to, but then, I don't know. I was too high, so I didn't. a week ago, P.S. the bags of dirt, I won't be lifting them. I will have the kids help me with that. But but anyway, because I'm not allowed to lift anything heavy. Like even doing like all the canning, was like I had to have the kids help me lifting like the water bath and anyway. How come? Because last Friday I had an injection in my spine. I think I had talked a while ago. Hi, Joe. Thanks for being here. I think I had talked a while ago, at least mentioned that I was was trying to get that approved and scheduled and everything. And it did get approved. Come to find out, other insurance and sorry, God, what do you call it? And doctor's office miscommunication situation, but it had been submitted a while ago, but didn't, like, I don't know what happened, but something got lost in the process of it being seen by the insurance, even though they had received it. So this time it was entirely on the insurance. But anyhow, they approved it really fast, which was awesome. But then it was like, okay, well, now we got to get on the wait list. No. The day that they got the approval, they called me and said, we had a cancellation for tomorrow. Do you want to come in? It's a 2 to 3 week recovery. For me, for my body, it's a 2 to 3 week recovery. And then even after that, you want to be a little bit careful and what you're doing and whatever. But for me and my body, as you all know it, it does what it do. So anyway, so I was like, yeah, hell yeah, because the sciatic nerve pain in like my right butt cheek was just killing me. You guys know I hate to take the pain medicine, but I was so grateful to have it. And 2 nights in a row, I had to take it so I could sleep. And I was like, I'm losing my mind. And I was losing my mind. It was like, we've gotten so much fixed and so much taken care of. And we had finally gotten my freaking Xolair allergy medicine. And it's like, we've done all these procedures, all this therapy, all these treatments, da-da-da-da. And it's like we get one thing fixed and quieted down, and then another thing like wants to give me shit. And so anyway, it was very frustrating. But they're like, yeah, tomorrow, bada boom. I'm like, oh my God, okay. So that was tricky because normally like I'll plan ahead, like, and try to prepare some things and, get things set up, get things lined up for the house, life, whatever that I'm working on. Well, that wasn't going to be possible. So instead I was like, okay, well, I'm getting that done. Let's just garden. Let's get as much of this shit done as possible, knowing that I'm going to be useless for days and days and days. And I figured the canning I'd be able to do. I was wrong, but I thought, I could do that after the procedure, but I knew I wouldn't be able to be gardening, like the heavy duty gardening, right? Well, hi, Kristen. Thanks for being here. And so I was like, hey, busting this out. I was literally gardening for like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah. So we go to get the procedure done. I could barely stand up. And I told them, I'm like, well, I was coming to see you guys. I had gardening that needed to get done. And that's what I've been doing. And let's do this. And they didn't give me a hard time about it or anything. They're just like, okay, yeah. So, and then the procedure itself really wasn't bad, honestly. In fact, I had expected it to be quite a bit worse. But compared to, that's hurting my neck, compared to the other procedures that I've had done on my spine, which there've been quite a few at this point, but yeah, actually getting it done was not the worst thing in the world. They injected me like 6 times under live x-ray because they got to get like in between discs. And I mean, it's your spine, it's your spine. So you've got to be, careful. You can't just go to your family doctor and get it done, which is why it has to like go through like all the approval and blah, blah, blah. But getting it done was not horrible. Why was I getting that done? Because I had been unaware that on that last MRI, see, I told you if I took my hat off, it was going to be wild. But on that MRI that I had, Holly, I'm grateful for you being here at all for any amount of time. So thank you. What was I going to say? What the fuck was I saying? Oh, I didn't know, for whatever reason, they hadn't told me that on that last MRI that I had done before we were doing the nerve ablation, that there was this whole section of my spine that was like all squished together because all the cartilage is gone and the discs are just like, all this kind of thing. And so, of course, pinching that, hi, Renee, I'm so glad you're here. Renee, you're gonna have to rewind because we're catching up on everything. Oh my God. So they did these injections to like help ease up all that, because they can't fix it. Like, you can get your back fused and stuff, but we're not at that point, and I would never want to do that anyway. And so getting the injections is supposed to help provide relief. And today I started feeling some relief. But so anyway, I was saying the procedure itself was not horrible. It was like 6 injections. The first 2, I think, were just the numbing. Yeah, that sounds right. Were just the numbing. And then the next ones were just getting into these different spots. And once I was numb, it was mostly just like pressure, like crazy pressure. But then that night was awful. God awful. I don't know why that was so bad, but it was awful. Oh my God. I hadn't been in that kind of pain in a long time. And it was just the kind where you can't breathe. And I was like, I don't think this was worth it. What the hell? But then in a stupor of heavy pain medication, which, like I've said, I don't like to take that stuff. It messes up your guts. A million other reasons to not want to take narcotics. But anyway, for me, most especially, it's because it messes with my digestive system. Well, anyhow, but once I had gotten on top of the pain, I was like, well, I'm going to research this a little bit, and was looking into it. And it was like, oh yeah, no, it's going to make it worse before it makes it better. So, well, and it did. I was like absolutely miserable for like 3 days. So no gardening, no canning. So things that, yeah, I'm so grateful to myself of a week ago for doing all of that gardening that I did. That was madness. Like I said, I could barely stand up, but I got so much done, so much digging, so much weeding. I divided a million perennials and, spread them around the yard. Hi, Alyssa. Spread them around the yard. I worked my ass off, and it was so good. I got so much done, and I'm so grateful for that. So that now, so these last couple of days, I did the canning, got that done. I've got my brandy started. I got juice bottled from the grapes and the peaches, and I will work on making the wine this winter. But the brandy, peach brandy, I've already started. Um, and then yesterday, I planted all the bulbs, those bazillions of flower bulbs, and for spring is going to be glorious. And so now all I have left is 4 bags of soil that came today that I need to put out. And I'll have the kids help me with that tomorrow. And then 2 big pots of daylilies that need to be divided and planted. And that is it. And those 2 massive projects will be done. So what has happened? Canning, gardening, and an unexpected, expected, but not expected at this time, minor spinal procedure with a much worse recovery than expected. Yeah. I did canning and stuff like that while medicated mostly, but I was able to put out all those bulbs yesterday and didn't take any pain medicine at all yesterday. So I feel pretty dang good, all things considered. I have not tried going like for much of a walk yet. Going to do that tomorrow, kind of suss things out, but then what was I going to say? I don't know. So we'll see how that goes, and see, like I said, it's for me, for my body, stuff like this is a few weeks recovery. And so I've got to be, cautious of that. But, and it doesn't get to full effect. What did it say? For like 3 to 6 weeks. So, but, I'm ready to be walking. So like mentally at least. And so going to test that out tomorrow, whether I just walk around the block or use the walking pad. I don't know. But yeah, but I was down here for like 2 straight days after the procedure because it was so, my God, I don't know why it was so bad, because like I said, getting it done was not horrible. Not fun at all, but not horrible. But then the recovery, and then I wonder, was it because of that like crazy gardening marathon? I don't know. Okay, so that's that stuff. That's that. Well, there've been a couple other things that are why I have not been live streaming. That's just the stuff that's been this last week. But before that, we had a couple of things. Now, everything is okay. You know it's going to be something when you start out with everything's okay, everyone's alive, all is well, but we had some things happen. So, and we are not going into detail on, like, big detail on really any of these things, because happy late birthday, Alyssa. Because I can't. So there was a now infamous shooting at my alma mater, my university. And that same day, there was a high school shooting in Colorado. And that was a crazy day. I got into a massive fight on Instagram that was like wildness. It is what it is. I had a post blow up. But anyway, and it took a lot out of me. And that this thing happened at my school, and just lots of stuff. Then, a few days later, Mariah, my 13-year-old, was walking home from the junior high. She likes to walk home. She started asking to be able to do that like 2 years ago. I wanted to have independence. and all of that. And I already was, holding my breath every day, waiting for my kids to get home from school because my kids go to public school in America. Enough said, right? But also the walking home. I'd be just holding my breath, right? Well, see, this is why I haven't live streamed. I've been, hi, Kathy. Been working through a lot of stuff. Kathy, you're going to definitely want to rewind to catch up. Okay, so Mariah was walking home from school. But actually, Kathy, we're starting on a new thing right now, so catch up later, okay? Kathy, I'm just explaining where I've been and why I haven't been here. She was walking home from school, and I'm waiting, She gets home. She comes in just acting normal. Everything normal. Nonchalant, puts her bag away, goes to the bathroom, gets a drink, whatever, and then comes in the living room where I was sitting doing something, and she says, so a guy was following me. Fuck. A guy was following me. And I said, what do you mean? Now, this is my 13-year-old daughter that looks like she's 20. Blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin. I said, come sit down and tell me. So she comes and sits down. She said, I was walking about a block and a half from home, 2 blocks from home. And this guy, she said it was like a white guy, looked like he was in his 30s, facial hair, wearing a ball cap in this little blue SUV. She's walking, and this car comes behind her and slows all the way down. And just drives behind her, follows her. And she just kept walking, thinking at first, like, not sure, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't expecting this. Okay. And it was like deer in the headlights kind of a thing. Okay. And some water. And so she keeps walking that block, and then thinking they'll pass me. They'll keep going. Maybe they were a DoorDash or an Uber that's looking for an address. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. And then they didn't pass her. And so finally she just stops and stands still for a second. And the car stopped. So she turned around and just stared at them. Again, she was like a deer in the headlights. She didn't even think to take a picture or anything like that, because so she stands there and stares at him, and she said he gave her the creepiest smile, and she just kept staring. And so then he she said he waved this weird wave and then sped off, like flew down the road. So I called the cops right away. I had this feeling in my head like where we didn't have a picture and we didn't have a license plate number, and like, should I even? And, for like 2 seconds, like, should I even? And then it was like, of course you should. So we did. We called, we filed a report. An officer called me back like 2 minutes later, got whatever details we had, said they would keep an eye out, they would look, promised they would increase patrols in the area after school, whatever. And because of all that, my gorgeous, fabulous, independent, headstrong daughter doesn't get to walk home alone anymore. She doesn't get to have that alone time that she loves, that independence that she craves. That's not fair. It's so not fair. So now she walks with friends to a certain point, and then either on Olivia's days off, she picks her up. And then before I had my spine procedure, I was, on the days that Olivia worked, I was walking. I did really good too. I was amazed at how far I could walk, and uphill and everything to meet up with her. Did that several times, and that was good. And then since my procedure, while I'm healing, Reagan, my son, has been going to meet up with her. So that was a couple weeks ago. And it messed me up. Okay. Everyone knows about trafficking and all of that. I don't need to explain it, but I had this false sense of security living in a pretty safe area. And we were this close. And so it really messed me up for a while. And then, like, there's good reason. Like, I have reasons that I stopped live streaming for a bit. I just had a lot I was processing, and it was just like thing after thing that was happening. And I know that I've said on this channel, I'm not like necessarily here to give energy. I'm honestly more here to get energy when live streaming, but there was just too much. And I just couldn't. So then, like a week later, Olivia was on her way home from work. She was driving her car, and she calls me, and she is just in a state. She's hysterical. And I'm like, okay, breathe, slow down, calm down. She's trying to tell me, and I'm like, are you hurt? Are you hurt? No, I'm not hurt. Okay, what happened? So she was driving home. She was turning. She had the right of way, and a car coming the other direction ran a red light and sideswiped her car. Swiped like the front left corner of her car that she just bought. And took off hit and run. And those that know, like, even a smidge of what I have been willing to share here with Olivia's journey and what it took getting to the point that she could even drive, and then she had just bought her own car, and then this shit happened. And luckily, I mean, like I said, she wasn't hurt physically, and it left a very noticeable long scratch on her new car, but didn't like hurt the car. You know what I mean? Which, hallelujah for that. Hallelujah, she is safe. And I kept telling her that over and over, and she was like, I know. And that's what's most important. And, you know, that she didn't get hurt. But she stopped in a parking lot and just needed, you know, collect herself. And then came home, and I just, you know, held her, and we, you know, talked it out. I had the procedure on my spine. At this point, it was like the next day. I think so. I think it was the day after. I think so. I think it was the day after the spinal procedure. So I was high as a kite and in so much pain. And she was so upset. So we didn't call the police or anything at that point. It was just, let's go to bed. It was late. And we'll go over to the police station tomorrow. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you. When it happened, this is crazy. I can't believe I left this part out. So the car took off. It swiped her, and then it just took off. And then she said, right away, a police car, lights and sirens, flew after it. Didn't stop to check on her, because obviously they were going after that person, because it was hit and run. Anyway, sorry, totally forgot that part. and that was why I said, okay, let's just go to bed. We can go to the police station tomorrow and see if they caught the person, you know, if they pulled him over, if whatever, and then figure that out. And so the next day we did go over to the police station, me high as a kite, but what are you going to do? I think I did pretty good for being on medication, heavy medication. And we went and spoke with a couple of officers for quite a long time, and filed a report and got all the details, and they were able to connect it. And so now we're dealing with that. They were able to track down the officer that did pull him over. And anyway, so that's happening. Most importantly, though, obviously, is that Olivia's safe. She's well. Mariah is safe. She's well. But it was just all this shit, you know. The shootings, for those that weren't here, the shootings, the one at my university, and all the hullabaloo with it, and the stain that now is on my school, and just the fallout, and God, all of it, and making the mistake of getting involved in public discourse, and then the shooting, high school in Colorado at the same time, and then this person following my baby with God knows what kind of intentions. Not good ones. You don't do that. You don't follow a teenage girl, drive slowly behind them with any kind of good intentions. You're not there to sell them magazines, you know. And then my Lulu, with her car that she just bought, with a hit and run, while I had just had my spinal procedure that I wasn't expecting to have for a few more weeks. In fact, I wasn't expecting they would even get me until October, and then there was a cancellation and they got me in. So, and then the recovery ended up being way worse than I had anticipated, at least for the first like 4 or 5 days. So all of that to say, oh, and the canning and the gardening, that is why I have not been live streaming. But the canning is done until the apples come on. The gardening, all I have left, the 4 bags of soil that I'm going to have the kids help me with, and to divide and plant the daylilies. And then I'm going to put up some Halloween. Not a whole lot. Not my normal, huge, ridiculously detailed yard display that I normally do, but some Halloween. I've got to work within the confines of being in recovery from the procedure, and I want to be able to enjoy the work that I've put into the garden. So I want to be able to see it and get to it. But I'm going to put up some Halloween, a little bit, and then when I've done a little bit of that, when I'm all the way recovered from the procedure, then I am going to get out to the new shed, my little studio shed. And since I didn't get to do a yard sale, because of course I didn't, Olivia and I are going to load up her car with most of the yard sale stuff and go donate it. And then I can let go of all that, which will be wonderful. Won't make any money from it, but I don't care at this point. I just want to be able to use my shed. And so we'll load all that up and go drop it off. And then I can start putting my shed together. And we're going to move the big dollhouse out to my shed so that I can have that space back in our front room for Christmas tree when that time comes. And then for doing seedlings for spring later, after Christmas, and going to get my shed set up the best that I can until I'm able to afford to get it all fitted out inside. But one thing at a time. We're getting some stuff done, and I really appreciate you guys being patient with me, loving, supportive, and watching the little bits of whatever I've been able to put up during all of this. Great, Phyllis. It's taken such good care of us. There's been all these, things happening, and she just really has been attentive and loving. And while I was convalescing, either lying on the couch upstairs or here in bed those first few days, she would come and check on me and come sit with me, then go off to do something else, and then come sit with me, and then go off to do something else, and kept checking on me. And I appreciated that so much. Oh, that's awesome, Vicki. So those things, they took a lot out of me. I did have a wonderful get together with my brother and his girlfriend. It's one of my younger brothers. um, named Javier and his lovely girlfriend, Ashley. And we did a wine tasting and pretended we were super bougie. And I did a fabulous spread. I was really proud of it. My very first wine tasting charcuterie spread. And they said it was great. They enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. James joined us. He didn't partake in the wine. He just doesn't really drink. But he hung out with us, and we had a lovely, just wonderful time, and enjoyed the charcuterie. And we tried 3 different wines. They were all dessert wines, because I can't drink red wine because I'm allergic to the heavy tannins, and it like locks up my jaw and I break out in hives. And he didn't have any white wines on hand, and so he brought 3 different dessert wines, and they were delicious. Oh my God. One was raspberry. Oh, that was so good. So good. But my favorite was a peach wine, which incidentally, I will be making some peach wine this winter with the peach juice that I have bottled up. So it was really nice to socialize and, yeah, entertain a little bit. So anyway, that's all of that. And that's been these last several weeks for us. But I do have a lot planned, like I was just going over. Gonna put up some Halloween. Hi, Jamie. Jamie, you're gonna have to rewind or wait till this posts or what have you. I just explained all the drama. Oh God, the drama. That is why I have not been posting, not live streaming for a minute. But we're back to it. We are back to it. And everyone is safe, and everyone is alive, and everyone is okay. And that's what matters most. That's what matters most. And we go on from here. And be aware, be cautious, be careful. Don't live in fear, but be cautious, careful, be aware. Mariah wants to take a self-defense class. Good idea. Anyway, I don't want to talk about any of that anymore. Like I said, it messed me up. Yeah. You realize just how close, you hear all day, every day of missing people kidnapped, people, all of that. And anyway, just be careful, be cautious, be aware. But don't live in fear. Do your best to find the happy and the good. Because it is there. It is. Even in the U.S. of America in 2025. It is there. I just had a few weeks that were just, there was a lot of the not as good stuff. There was just a lot that was not the good and the happy. But things are coming along. And I have a lot planned for here, and now we can start getting to it. I will be recovering for a couple more weeks. Like I said, it was only a week ago that I had the spinal procedure, and my body takes longer to recover than others. Jamie, oh my God, stop it. You really need to go back and watch the whole thing, Jamie, because it's going to be an adult beverage. I hope that's okay, Jamie, my darling. It ain't going to be coffee this time, though Mama loves her coffee. I'm done with the pain medicine now, so that day that we did the wine tasting, I wasn't able to take any pain medicine other than a little bit of Tylenol, so that was rough. But but I'm completely done with the narcotics now. And you know Mama's getting a drinky drink, Jamie. I know I told you rewatch the whole thing, but my Olivia got sideswiped, swiped a new car. It was a hit and run. Mariah, someone following her home from school in a car with bad intentions. It's going to be a drinky drink. I'm going to put that, you know what? I'm out of rum. I am out of rum. Jamie, my darling sweet Jamie. Oh, Jamie. Jamie, Miss Jamie. Jamie. I'm going to get some rum. I like Bacardi. It has a bat on the front. I don't know what it's called, but it's delicious. It's my favorite. And Jamie, my sweet Jamie. I can't put on a show for you much tonight. But Jamie, I'm getting some rum. Thank you. Oh, Bonnie, thank you, my sweet. Yeah, it's... well, you're getting tears at least anyway, right? That's a... It has been an adventure, but, I mean, it's always an adventure over here. You guys know that. When is it not an adventure? But, oh, Vicky, you're here. You're here. But we've gotten through it. And, yeah, he was upset. Of course. About both of them. He was, those are his babies. Kids. I had to call my mom. Okay, we've got a few more minutes. What the hell? I've already opened the floodgates, right? Oh yeah, Jamie, we have filed 2 police reports, and the one with the hit and run thing is an ongoing situation. The person has been identified, and I can't talk anymore about it. But yes, yes, police involvement. But so the thing with Mariah happened first. That was a few weeks ago, a few weeks ago. And I called my mom, and I said, Mom, I want to kill him. Oh God, I can't even say this on YouTube. He ruined it. He took away something from my little girl, from me, from our family. He took that away by following her, by scaring her, by scaring us. he took that away. That our innocence, if you will, freedom, independence, he took that away. And I the anger, the rage, I think of, oh God, parents who've lost their kids to situations like that. She wasn't taken. Hallelujah, right? And still, what I felt, there was I think it was in Germany. I think it was in Germany in the 80s. There was a woman, a single mother, whose neighbor kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered her daughter. And in court, it was in the 80s, there wasn't the kind of security that there is now. She emptied a revolver into him in the courtroom. And it wasn't until she finished shooting that the security or the officers in there took her down. I don't think they really tackled her, but they grabbed her. But they let her empty the entire revolver into him. I don't know if it was a revolver, whatever it was, handgun. And I understood more than I've ever understood that. So I called my mom and was expressing that to her. And I waited actually a few days. I called her a few days after it happened, after I had had some time to digest it a little bit and to calm down. And she, for one, said, do not wait to tell me stuff like this. And then she said, no, Julie, you have your kids still to raise. I would be the one in jail, not you. The fact that we even had to have that kind of a conversation. And you guys know I have a tricky, beautiful relationship with my mother that we've worked very hard to have. And I knew she meant it. I knew she meant it. God. Anyway, God. Thank you, Jamie, for your very generous super chat, because I guarantee this is going to get demonetized. I think James is coming down to go to bed, so I better hop off. let's end on a happier note. Well, because of Jamie's very generous donation, I'm not worried about getting demonetized there. There's happy. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you, all of you, for being always, as always, so patient and kind and generous and sweet and supportive. Anyway, you guys are wonderful. Let's get together tomorrow at some point. And now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, we can focus on happier things. How about that? How's that sound? Does that sound good? I think that sounds good. But we're back. Okay? And fully determined to be back to daily live streaming now that we've, gotten that stuff out of the way. I mean, some of it will be ongoing, and it is what it is. But what will also be ongoing is you and me getting together every day. Okay? All right. Have a good night. We will see you tomorrow. I do not know what time. So please do stay tuned for a community post at some point. Okay? Okay. Have a good night.